Hello, my name is Anna. I'm currently the president of University of St Gallen. I'm also a 5th semester bachelor student studying international affairs at the University of St Gallen. Key for us was to get support from the university side, or at least identify 1 or 2 faculty members who saw the value of the positive impact rating and wanted to give a voice to the students as well. So we managed to get the support of the Delegate for Sustainability and Responsibility at the University of St Gallen. And that really was key. Also then to navigate internal university politics, to have not only students asking for change, but to have a faculty member back us in this process. In terms of the arguments that we used, it was important for us to mention that it is a rating and not a ranking. That put the university communication at ease a bit, we felt. And yeah, it also meant that we would be constructive in how we dealt with the data and not make it about activism or bashing the university, but use it as a tool to find new solutions together. And regarding the fee that had to be paid for the positive impact rating, there we used the argument that it cannot be that students have to pay to have their voice heard. I think that argument really stuck. So yeah, I guess that's how we managed. So as a student organization for sustainability, we realized that oftentimes you get put in a box and university leadership thinks, of course, you're a sustainability organization, so of course you want more sustainability in the curriculum. But they thought it was just us, a small group of people, and not actually the student body. So something where I saw value in the PIR for us was that we could channel the broad student voice and show that it was not just within the sustainability bubble, but among the wider student body that people wanted to see this change. And yeah, I think again, the fact that the positive impact rating is a tool was important to us, so we could really use it in different ways to drive concrete change. That's at the end of the day what we're all about. So we already participated twice in the positive impact rating and learned a lot through this repeated process. And so the second time round, what we did to get answers was that we collaborated with 27 other student associations at the University of St Gallen. We're quite fortunate to have a very broad landscape of associations, and student engagement in general is quite high. So we started a collaboration with these 27 associations, shared our marketing materials with them. We tried to prepare as much as possible for them already, so that it was not much effort required on their side. And then we asked them to share it both on their public social media pages and also within their members. And I think that was key to our approach. Of course, we also used all the university channels that were available to us, speaking in lectures, participating in the info email set up by the student union, and yeah, everything that came to mind. That was really our approach. Anything that's possible, we do spread it as far as possible. So what didn't work so well actually was getting support of the university in our communications. As the positive impact rating was something that came from us, Oikos St Gallen, as a student club, oftentimes, you reach a barrier because they have to treat all student associations the same. And so there were, for example, we could not send an email to all students. Mass mails are forbidden for this kind of topic. So yeah, I guess it's just since we as a student association owned the execution of the positive impact rating, there was some limits to the channels that were available to us. And actually what we learned from this is that in the future we will collaborate more closely with the student union as well. So not only look at other student associations that we can collaborate with, but look for people who have some sort of different political stance as well at the university and use their channels more. So I think we realized that having more stakeholders involved in the process of data collection is valuable, and we want to continue to do that even more in the future. So that's actually something that worked well. So sharing ownership over the execution of the survey is something I would very much recommend. it helped us a lot to channel the student voice, and it made all our demands as oikos St Gallen more legitimate in a way. So we managed to get 10% of business students at the university to fill in the survey, and so that is statistically significant to an extent, and yeah, that meant we no longer could be put in a box of just a student association, but that we had to be taken seriously.
Want to do it again?
I just had to look at the thing.
Okay.
Yes, and so again, having this initial connection to faculty, like the delegate for sustainability and responsibility in our case, helped us, because then also she was able to use the data, and from a professor's point of view was able to spread it to the teaching faculty. And actually the interest was there on behalf of the teaching faculty. At the end of the day, everyone's aware of that they're teaching students, and what the students want to hear is important to them. And the data was also useful for us in sparking more of a top-down approach to curriculum change. With this data, we as oikos were now able to go through the student union to reach also people on the president's board and at the university leadership, and getting their support for this curriculum change ideas is a really new approach. We have never tried this before, the positive impact rating, and also just in general. So I'm really excited to see how this turns out. It's a process then, using the positive impact rating as a tool. So I hope we have a few exciting ones ahead. Our first and most important action was to communicate them as widely as possible. So upon hearing the results, actually our university decided not to issue any statement, any public statement about the positive impact rating. And so we realized that if we weren't going to do it, then no one was going to know. And so we shared it as widely as possible. We gathered statements from students who personally wanted to react to the results and share their interpretation and opinion. Something that we're also currently planning is a workshop called Let's Talk Impact, that is in, I think, the first stage aimed at other student associations, so some of the 27 that we had involved in our marketing campaign. And our aim here is really to explain the data and what it means, show also our analysis of especially the qualitative responses, and to really give also the chance to other students to use the PIR as a tool. So these associations are quite professional actually, and they want to see what this data means for their strategy and how from the student side we can continue to ultimately work towards a positive impact. My main tip is pretty self-evident, and that is just be aware that the more responses you get, the better. For one, the data is more meaningful, and also it helps to make the positive impact rating more sustainable at your school as well, because at least from our experience, as soon as you finish one edition of the positive impact rating, you have to make sure you get support for the next edition of the positive impact rating. So this kind of getting the school to invest in the PIR every year is not to be taken for granted. And the more you're able to show that you have the capacity to collect a significant number of results, and that these results can be used as a constructive basis for change, then the school will also be more willing to invest in you in the future. Another really important thing for us to consider was striking a balance between activism and a constructive debate that followed on from the PIR. So we were obviously quite upset with the performance of our school, but also considering that you will have to gain again the support of the school for the next edition of the positive impact rating, focusing on a constructive response for us was really important. So putting aside the initial instinct to take an activist stance and really reflecting about the long-term consequence of how we communicate was also really important to